Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. I'll be showing you how to cut this dress in this tutorial. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'll be placing the measurement on the screen. The shoulder that I use is 6.5 and the armhole is 6.5. That's the armhole divided by 2 is 6.5, shoulder divided by 2 is 6.5. So I connected it, and then I took the shoulder to waist, because that armhole line will form the chest line. That's where our chest is, that's our bust is. So shoulder to waist is 12, shoulder to hip is 19, and shoulder to the knee, that's the short full length, is 23, plus 1 inch sewing allowance is 24. So I'm drawing the lines out. Now I'm placing the shoulder again on the armhole line to form a straight line. Then I'll come down by 0.75 for the shoulder slant and 3 inches for the neck width. Okay, then I'll measure the mini part, divide to 2. I went in by 0.6 for the front armhole and 0.3 for the back armhole, because I'll be using this to cut both the front and the back. Now the quarter of our chest, round chest measurement, plus 1.75 sewing allowance. The quarter of the waist measurement plus 1.75 sewing allowance. That sewing allowance is not standard, so you decide what you want to use for your sewing allowance. You can use 1 inch, you can use 2 inches. Then the quarter of the hip plus 1.75. Now for the knee area, I minus 1 from that. I measure the hip and minus 1 from it, and I place it on that knee in order for it to have that pencil effect. Okay, so now for the front neckline, I'm coming down by 3. The back neckline will be deeper than this, so I'll use this front to cut for both, this front neckline to cut for both the front and back for now. For that shoulder area, I'll be adding ½ inch in order for me to join the shoulder. So I added ½ inch to join the front and back shoulders together. So I've placed the front. For me to cut the back, I'm adding 1 inch zipper allowance. So I'm extending the lines, that's the chest line, the waistline, and the hip line, so that it will guide me when I want to draw the darts for the back. Is the opening for the dart of the back that I use in fixing the loops at the back of the dress. So I've marked my zipper allowance well, so that I'll just have like a template to work with for the back. I'm drawing out the sides because I want to use the front as a template for the back. Okay, so I'm drawing out the zipper allowance well. That's, I'm taking 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch zipper allowance. Then I'm going to place zipper dart of 0.33, not up to ½ inch, because I want it to have that effect for the back. so that the zip will sit well at the back. So now that is 0.3 that I took. I'm replacing it at the sides so that it doesn't affect the measurement. Now from the first straight line of that zipper allowance, I'm going in by I'll measure 3 inches as a nipple to nipple. I did not divide the waist into two to get the midpoint because I want the opening to be close to the zipper. So I took that 3 inches on the chest, the waist and the hip, and I formed a straight line. Now I'll take half inch on both sides of the waist to form the zipper dart. Then I came down by 1 inch from the chest line, and I came up by 2 inches from the hip, and I formed the waist dart. The 1 inch that I took for the dart, I'm going to be replacing it back plus 1 inch to sew the dart back. So I'm adding 1 inch on the chest line, 2 inches on the waist, 1 inch on the hip, and 1 inch on the knee. Those 1 inch on the other side is allowance to sew the dart back. Then the 2 inches on the waist is for the dart allowance and the sewing allowance. So I'm cutting out the back armhole and then the sides. Initially, I was thinking maybe I'll make it a princess dart so that it will have a total opening because it has to have it. But I saw that it will not work. I later brought down the neck of the back a bit. I brought it down like 3.5 inches more or 4 inches more so that um that place will be open and the loop will start from the beginning of the neckline. Okay, so I just made it to be round and connect back to the shoulder where the shoulder is so that the shoulder joining for the front and back will be the same. Okay, so it still gave me that round effect, but it's just that it was deeper. So now I'm using because I cut only one for the back, so I'm using the one that I cut to cut the other piece for the back. Yeah, I came down by 1.5, but later, like I said, I brought it down a bit more, like 3 inches to make it like 2.5 to make it 4 inches again. So I brought it down by 4 inches again. That's the back depth was 7, while the front was 3. Now this is the net for the from that knee to the full length, that's the floor length. The measurement I use is a 22 plus 1 is sewing allowance. So the overall measurement of the girl is a 45. So to know the length for the down part, you just from that knee, from where the upper part is stopping to the ground length, whatever you have is what you use plus sewing allowance 1 inch. Now I use 5 yards for this. The net is 5 yards. So I was able to cut only 2 layers. So I had to get extra nets in order for me to cut the third layer because it will make it to look more professional. If you use only 2 layers, I use door face under. When you use only 2 layers, the door face or the mirror face will still be showing. But if you make it like 3 layers, the door face under will not show. So it's just like when you're sewing a normal baby dress. Okay, So I had to make it up to 3 layers so that the mirror face under does not show. Even if you are not using mirror face, it's good to have up to 3 layers so that it will have that full effect. Okay, so I was able to cut only 2 layers and see what is remaining. Okay, so this is the mirror face. It's quite small because I used 1 yard, so I'm just going to manage it. The length is that I was able to get is 19, but assuming the material is enough, I should have used like length 20 or 20 and a half. So I just cut into two. That's like unfold now is 19 because I want to use one part for the back and one part for the front. But if you have enough fabric, you can use up to 2 yards. Yes, you can use up to 2 yards for the door face part. You can use up to 2 yards for the door face part and then cut the length of 20. So it's nice having you in this class. I'll upload the sewing aspect. Please like and subscribe to this channel.